Good morning, Safe Harbor ladies. After this sad week of racial injustice and riots, I thought we would begin with a mudra. This mudra is called Maharishi Mudra, and it's the thumb and the first two fingers pressed gently together. The ring finger comes down to the base of the thumb and the pinky finger stays elevated. And then we can do that same position on the other hand. So the first two fingers connect with the thumb, ring finger comes to the base, and pinky finger comes up. And you can hold this mudra up as you close your eyes and begin to steady the breath. So a rishi is a sage. It's a wise person, and it means a person who is a seer. And maha means great. So a maharishi is someone who can see things very well and can help other people to see things well. This mudra is good for headaches, migraines, eye strain, and low back strain. So as we breathe and just noticing the attention on the breath starts to lengthen and deepen the inhale and smooth out the exhale and the effects of the mudra in the body and in the mind. We just ask the Lord to help us to see in a new way. Help us to see in a way that helps others come to a new way of seeing. And I chose for this week a passage from Revelation 21 that is also about seeing. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride, beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. He who is seated on the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. One more breath in Maharishi Mudra, and release the backs of the hands to the knees, open the eyes. So may it be so. May we behold Jesus making all things new. Turn the hands over, grasp the knees, and we'll do some cat-cow stretch right where we are in Sukhasana or Siddhasana, like I'm in with the ankles on top of each other. So on the exhale, we'll round. And as the head drops and we're looking down, let's close the eyes. And on an inhale, open the eyes to a new way of seeing. Exhale, close, closing down to the old order of things. Inhale, open, opening to God making all things new. And exhale, following the pattern of the breath. Arching the back on the inhale, and exhale, round, and inhale, lift. And we're going to be doing a lot of twists today. Twists are good for wringing out the stale old air, stale old blood, and making room for a flood of the new to come into the body. So I thought that would fit with our theme of the old order of things passing away. So bring the right hand to the left knee. Left fingertips are behind you with the left shoulder reaching back. And the twist initiates at the bottom of the spine and comes up. And the head is resting on top of that twist in the spine. So the head could be wherever is comfortable. If you need to have it neutral, if you can look back, or even looking over in the other direction. So spine in one direction, chin in the other. But on the inhale, get tall. And on an exhale, go a little deeper into the twist. Wringing out the old. And inhale, sweep up. And exhale, left hand to right knee, fingertips behind you. Head resting gently on top of that spiral of the spine, wherever is comfortable. That old system of competition and violence and us against them, just the ugly way of seeing, that is a part of what will one day be called the old system. And inhale, sweep it up. And exhale again to the left, making room for the new. So inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist a little deeper without using the neck to crank the rest of the body. Inhale up. Exhale, left hand to knee, and we're using that hand to pull a little bit to go a little deeper into the twist. And inhale up one last time, and sweep it down. We're going to come into hands and knees. That does not lend itself to being a good visual, sorry about that. So we're going to sweep up the left arm and then weave, so the back of the hand is on the floor and it slides between the right hand and the body, and then pull that right hand back so it's in front of the face. We're resting on the part of the skull just above the ear and using that right hand to press into the floor to come a little deeper into the twist. Feels good, nice steady breath. And inhale, bring the left hand back, sweep the right arm up, gaze is up, and then dive that hand behind the left hand, palm is up, left hand palm is in front of the face, and then we'll press in to get a little more twist in the spine. Few breaths here. So we get our scrambled brain from how the world just seems to be unraveling and falling apart into a vision that's more in line with the work Jesus is doing, making all things new. Come back up. We'll inhale the left arm up again, sweep it behind the right hand, and this time come up on the ball of the right foot, extending that right leg, pressing into that right hand again, or if you can get your balance, bringing the hands together into prayer pose and pressing into that bottom elbow to torque a little more deeply into a twist here. Getting rid of the old order of things, making room for things to become new. And right hand to the floor, left hand to the floor, knee to the floor. And we'll reach the right arm up, gaze joins it. Slide that right arm down and behind the left hand. Extend out through that left leg on the ball of the foot. And if it was comfortable on the other side, maybe try again to bring the palms together into prayer pose, pressing into the bottom elbow. Breathing into the twist, fixing the gaze. Seeing humanity being restored as a bride, us dwelling with God among us, and the old order of things passing away. And
release, left hand back down to the floor, right hand down to the floor, and knee down to the floor. We'll do a few cat-cows here. You can bring the wrists slightly in front of the shoulders, but the knees are still under the hips. And so we'll arch the back and look up, and you can even keep bringing the gaze up like you were trying to see above you and behind you to get a new higher vision. And exhale, close the eyes, round it in. Closing down to the old system, extend back through the tailbone, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze super high, much higher vision. And exhale, sighing out all of what the old system stands for. And inhale, arch, lifting the gaze, and to neutral. I'm going to walk my hands forward. So we're getting ready for puppy pose. But then I'm going to bring the right leg off to the right with the toes pointing forward before bringing my forehead down towards the floor. It may or may not come all the way down. We're really opening through the shoulders here. We're sinking the heart down, pulling the hips back, and that little bit of pressure on the forehead to settle the mind, to come back into an alignment with our faith that a day is coming when every tear will be wiped away. There'll be no more death and no more mourning, no more injustice. And rise up, bring that knee back in, stretching out through the left leg off to the side, toes pointing forward, reaching out, lowering down, pulling the hips back, sinking the heart. They're calling that a new heaven and a new earth are coming. That God wants to dwell with us, wants to be in our midst, wants to beautify humanity as a beautiful bride, be joined with Him forever. Rising up. Whew. Do a few more cat-cows. So inhale, gazes up, and exhale, round. And as you round, press the floor away to spread through the shoulder blades. Inhale, tailbone reaches back, gaze lifts. Exhale, round it in, and inhale, straining towards that glorious day, and to neutral. Check your hands and wrists. Make sure your fingers are spread super wide. Index fingers are pointing straight ahead. Wrist creases are parallel to this front edge of your mat. Then tuck the toes, lift the knees, and come into down dog. I think for all these down dogs, I am going to need to tuck in the bottom of my shirt here. So I'll pull back and then bend the right knee and feel the left heel of the foot and the right heel of the hand reaching away from each other. And then bring the right heel down and left heel up, and then reach between that back right heel and the left hand. And then slowly keep alternating knees, alternating that angled kind of twisting action. Few more. And then we're going to lift both heels, come up onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees deeply, and draw the belly towards the thighs, sinking the heart down even more. And then keeping that action of the core moving towards the thighs, then begin to extend down through the heels. Just feel how much more lifted and lengthened the back feels in this position. That little adjustment. Make sure that your knees are not hyperextending, so we're not jamming the knees back. But lifting the knees, caps up towards the hips. And then we'll drop down, knees wide, big toes together, and we're going to pull back into child's pose. So first just nestle into child's pose and begin to feel the breath expanding out. How the core presses out into the thighs, how the back is lifting and rounding with each inhale. Turning on our rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. Getting centered and grounded in the truth that Jesus can make all things new. And then bring that right arm sort of like a little kickstand here. And we're going to come up on the fingertips with the elbows bent and then start to turn the core so that we're looking out over that elbow. Looking towards a day of no more injustice, no more death, pain, and suffering. And then reach out through the right arm, forehead down. Then bend the left elbow up on the fingertips and gaze in that direction. Deepening the breath. Twisted child's pose. And reaching out long. Notice how much deeper you can get after that twist. And then bending the right elbow again. Pressing into the floor to turn the spine, turn the gaze. And reaching out. And bending the left elbow and turning in that left direction. Deep breath into the back. And lengthen forward. And we'll come up on hands and knees. Again, check your hands that they're nice and ready as we pull back into down dog. We're going to bring our left foot to that center of the space between the feet. And then lift the right leg back so that it's parallel to the floor. Foot is flexed, hips are square. And then we're going to lift the foot up towards the ceiling, bending the knee. And then we're going to lift the knee up towards the ceiling without collapsing in the left shoulder. So bring some attention into that left shoulder to keep it lifted even as the knee is lifting and we're twisting in the low back. And then you can start to circle the ankle in one direction and then the other. And then we're going to, if you feel like you have access to it, come up on the fingertips of the right hand and gaze under the right arm. So get a little more twist here. Maybe the knee can go a little higher. Straining towards a higher vision. And then flatten the right hand, bring the knee down, straighten out through the leg and bring it down. Place that right foot in the center of the mat. Stretch out through that left leg so it's hip height, and then lift the foot so it's parallel to the ceiling, and then lift the knee without collapsing in the right shoulder. So we're trying to lift through that right shoulder as it will want to bend. Maybe circle the ankle one direction, then the other. And then if you feel like you have margin for it, come up on the fingertips of the left hand and gaze under the left arm. Maybe lifting that knee a little higher. Higher vision of new things to come. A new heaven and a new earth. And flatten that right hand, bring the leg down. And then we'll bring the knees down to the mat. Stay on the balls of the feet. We'll interlace the fingers behind us, get the heart lifted, gaze lifted. And then bring that fist over to the right waist and let the ear drop over to the right shoulder. Jesus said to Sister Mary of the Holy Trinity, "Yes, I can transform all ugliness into beauty, all poverty into spiritual wealth. And reach that fist back behind us, lifting the heart, gazes up, and then change the weave of the fingers. It's more the unusual cross of the fingers. Bring that fist over to the left waist and let the left shoulder and the left ear come towards each other. Just dropping the head and lengthening the right side of the neck. Jesus said, I can transform all sin into a source of grace, all rancor into forgiveness, into sweetness, all bitterness, into joy, all sadness, all suffering, into redemption. When you give them to me and let me act. And bring the fist back behind us, lifting the elbows, lifting the arms, gazes up, opening the heart to that reality. Trusting Jesus to bring beauty from all this ugliness. And release. Whew, really opened up my shoulders. All right, we're going to step to the front of the mat for some half sun salutes. So we'll inhale, circle the arms up. And as we reach up, really extend through the ring fingers. And exhale, bow with a flat back. To keep the flat back, you may need to bend the knees a little bit, and that's okay. Let the head sink down. Inhale, press into the shins and come up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inner spiral the thighs, crown of the head reaches toward the floor. And inhale, with bent knees, but always with flat back, come up. Then reach to those ring fingers and palms together at the heart. So after we've been all twisted up by the world and confused and upset by how things are going, we want to come back to this stature of preparing to be a bride of Christ. So inhale up, let that ring finger meditation be what reminds us that we were meant to be the bride of Christ. And bow our head down. Inhale, come up halfway, fingertips can be on the floor or on the shins. Exhale, bow. Inner spiral the thighs. And then inhale, come up with a flat back. Reaching up through that ring finger. Prepare humanity to be the bride of Christ. And inhale up. And exhale, bow. And this time we're going to stay down. Keep the left fingertips on the floor. Bend the left knee and reach the right arm up. And sweep it down. Right fingertips on the floor. Right knee bent. And sweep the left arm up. And just a few more of these. Just steady twisting motions, wringing out the old. Don't want anything of that old system to be in us. We want a new system of light and love to be in operation in our words and in our actions. And last time. And now we're going to just grab the elbows with the opposite hand. So see if you can get the elbow to go into the palm of the hand, that nice connected feeling, and then folding and sinking down. And you can sway a little bit, close the eyes if you can still keep your balance. Comforted in the fact that there'll be a new heaven and a new earth. And every tear will be wiped from our eyes. And release the elbows, hang the head, and inhale, sweep up. Reach to the ring fingers, come to full stature, and palms together at the heart. affirming our faith that we believe that Jesus can make all things new. All right, we are ready for the next side here and some more twisting. So we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, reach back with the right leg and then drop down to that back knee. Make any adjustments so that the front knee doesn't go past the ankle. And then we'll reach up into low lunge. And then reach the left arm back, right arm forward to get that twisting action. And bring both arms up. And exhale, twist. Returning towards that front knee. Inhale up. And one more time, twist. And this time we're going to lift that back knee, step the foot forward, come up halfway, and fold. A lot of times we just switch legs, but inhale, coming up full stature. I wanted us really to go from that twisting action back to standing full stature, kind of like a little blade of grass. When you step on it, and it gets all crumpled, and then it comes back, it springs back. We want to be resilient like that. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow and step the left foot back on the ball of the foot. Then come down to onto that back knee. I like to keep my back toes tucked just so I have a little more access to balance. And inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, twist and turn towards that right side of the body. And inhale up. Especially bending in that upper thoracic spine. Exhale. So we don't put all the strain on the low back, but we're really lifting through the heart. And twisting. And up. And hands to the floor. Pop the back knee up and step it forward. Come up halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lift, sweeping the arms up, reaching through the ring fingers. And exhale, palms to the heart. Coming to our full stature again. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, bow. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back, come down on that back knee. We're going to keep the right hand on the floor and bring the left hand up. So this is already a twist. And if this is feeling like enough, you can pause here and just breathe and ponder, keeping our eyes fixed on higher things. Or you can bring in that back foot and grasp it with the left hand and begin to pull the foot against the hand and the hand against the foot to really open the heart. This is Twisted Monkey. And let go of the foot, bring it down, both hands down, pop the knee, step it forward, come up halfway, bow, inhale, sweep up, palms together at the heart. And one more time, inhale, exhale, bow, inhale, come up halfway, and exhale, step the left foot back, come down on that left knee, leave the left hand on the floor and twist open. And you can come onto, it's that space just above the kneecap, and reach for that back foot. Pull the foot into the hand to open the heart. Lift the gaze. Can we come into that Maharishi, that great seeing, where we can see the things like God sees, that new things are coming, that He is making all things new, to see what He's preparing and to be in line with it. And release the foot, both hands to the floor, pop the knee and step that back foot forward. Come up halfway and bow. And inhale, sweep it up. Reaching through the ring fingers. And exhale, palms to the heart. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, bow. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, down. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're going to step the feet together till they're touching. And then we're going to sink the hips, bending the knees, curl in through the low belly a little bit to support the low back. And we have the tailbone reaching more straight down. So we're not swinging out like this. That will put a little strain. And then we're going to twist here by bringing left hand to right knee and right hand to the waist. Wringing out the old system. And then straighten the legs and bow. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow again. Inhale, sweep up. Arching in the upper back, really lifting through the heart. And exhale, bringing the hands to the heart. Oh, Jesus, please make all things new. Then bending the knees, dropping the hips. This is chair pose. We can bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand to the hip and twist. It's also called fierce pose and thunderbolt. You may notice it's a very warming posture. And inhale and then bow. Come up halfway and sink again. And inhale all the way up. And palms together at the heart. All right, I'm going to get a little low again. So inhale, sweep up. Exhale, bow. Notice how just repeating these half sun salutations, how flexible we're feeling. And we're going to exhale our right foot back this time. Bring the knee to the floor and walk the left foot over till it's half on the mat, half off, and angled at a 45-degree angle. And both hands are in front, under the shoulders. So this can be your lizard pose right here. You'd feel it in your inner thigh, feel that opening. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can come down to the forearms and you can rotate to the outer edge of that front foot. And then, if you'd like to make this a twist also, you can leave your right arm down like at a 45-degree angle and reach back with your left hand for the foot in the back. Pull the foot against the hand and the hand against the foot to get a bigger opening in the heart. And Jesus, we're so glad that you can make all things beautiful, even the most ugly. And release the foot. Bring the hands in front again. Walk the foot back more in line with the hip. Pop the back knee up. Step forward. We're up halfway. Exhale, bow. And inhale, sweep it up. And exhale, hands to the heart. And thank you, Jesus, that you can turn all poverty into spiritual wealth. Inhale, sweep up. And exhale, bow. Inhale, come up halfway. And step the right foot back. Wait, no. Step the left foot back. Hands on the inside of that foot as you walk the right foot off to the right. So it's at a 45-degree angle, half on and half off the mat. Bring that back knee down. This is lizard. This is already enough for the opening that your body is needing. You can pause here. Come down to the forearms. and come to the outer edge of that front foot. And if you'd like a little more, you can keep that left forearm there with the palm down and reach back with the right hand and grab a hold of that foot, pulling it in and resisting back with that foot. Keeping the heart turning up. You can turn all sin into a source of grace, Jesus. We are grateful. And release the foot, both hands under the shoulders. Walk the right foot over till it's in line with the hip. Pop the back knee and step forward. We're up halfway. And exhale, bow. And inhale, reach up. Reaching through the ring fingers. Exhale, palms to the heart. And bring both feet together again. Let's sink the hips. Compress the knees into each other. And we're going to bring this Anjali Mudra over so that the left elbow is on the outside of the right knee. And press and turn into a twist. Keeping our gaze lifted. Keeping our vision set on something more beautiful, more permanent. And bring the hands back to the heart. And then bring right elbow on the outside of left knee and press in to get a little more twist. Tailbone dropping down to the ground. Gaze lifting. Breath steady. And then bow. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow again. And inhale, sweep it up. Reaching through the ring fingers and palms to the heart. Alrighty, I'm coming down to the floor now into seated Dandasana. So legs are extended long. Scooch back here a little bit out in front of us. And to keep from collapsing in the low back, we're going to grab a hold of the right thigh, pick up the outer edge of the thigh and roll the inner thigh down and remove any flesh between the sit bone and the floor. Feel how different that is on that side of the body now. And then rotate the left thigh, remove any squish that comes between, flexing through the feet, hands by the side, lifting super tall, staff pose. Before we go into some more twisting. So you're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest and sit up super tall. And then hop that right foot over the left leg. And then hook the left arm so that the elbow is on the outside and around the knee. And then bring the right fingertips on the floor behind you. Now keep the lower back lifting towards that front thigh, and you'll feel the stretch go into the outer hip. Now the spine is twisting all the way up, and then the head is resting on that twist. So it can either continue the twist by looking over that back shoulder, be neutral, or gaze forward. But we're never going into the twist by cranking the neck. And release. Stand out through both legs. Jesus, we're so happy that you can transform all rancor into forgiveness. And bend the left knee, draw it in close so that you can sit up even taller. Hop that left foot over the right leg and then hook the elbow around and bring the left fingertips behind you, sitting up tall. Feeling how this twist is opening that left hip. Keeping the spine lifting, going up. And on an exhale, twisting a little more. And release, turn the head back to the front. Sitting up tall. Jesus, we're so grateful that you can turn all bitterness into sweetness.
over the left leg, but this time tuck in the left heel till it comes to the outside of the right hip. And check this right foot. Is it halfway between the front of the foot being in front of the knee and the back of the foot behind the knee? You can make that little adjustment to see that happens. And then hug around that front leg to sit up super tall. Then reach up with the right arm. No, reach up with the left. We're going to twist here. And bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee and the right fingertips behind you. Sometimes the energy of this hand feels like it's saying stop. And there's a whole lot about this old system that we may feel like saying stop to. Or we can reach it so the palm is up and we're receptive to the new system that Jesus wants to bring and put in place. Whichever feels more comfortable to you. Drawing in that low back so we're sitting super tall. It's an elegant waiting with grace posture. And release. And come back into that seated Dandasana. I always get a little confused here. Which leg am I on now? After we get all twisted up, it's hard to right ourselves again. That's why we need a class like this about how to come back to that more grounded, faith-filled, hopeful vision. Jesus, we're so glad that you can change and transform all sadness into joy. And bend the left knee, hug it in, sit tall, hop it over the right leg, and bend the right heel around so it's close into the left hip, but we're not sitting on it. Check the knee and the foot. Half the foot's in front, half the foot's behind. And then pressing into the leg with the hands to sit up super tall. Now we'll reach our right arm up and bring the right elbow around the knee and bring the left fingertips on the floor behind us. And then either that stop to the old system or the receiving of the new, but in all of it, vision. We don't want to see the same way this world sees. It's ugly, it's abusive, it's unjust. We want to see with the eyes of faith and hope and love. Trustful surrender to a loving God who's making all things new. And unwind. Stretch out long. Sitting up tall. We'll come onto the back for our cool down. This was a little quicker class. I feel like I have to make up for all the times I've kind of gone over an hour. So we'll come onto the back, hugging the knees into the chest and beginning to rock from side to side. And then hands on the heads of the knees and begin to circle both knees together in unison and in the other direction. And then widen the knees, toes closer together, and circle the knees apart and together. And feel the low back arch away from the mat and flatten in, and then other direction. And soles of the feet to the floor, arms out, shoulder height. We're going to press into the feet and lift the hips up, swing them a couple of inches off to the left and come back down on the right hip. Draw in the knees and let them fall over to the right as the gaze goes to the left. Coming into a twist. And keeping our gaze fixed on ultimate realities. On the fact that we have a loving God who is at work and making all things new. Turn the head up towards the ceiling, lift one knee then the other, press into the feet and lift the hips, swing them a couple of inches off to the right and come back down on the left hip. Draw on the knees, let them fall to the left and gaze out over the right arm. Filling this twist with nice breath. Getting steady and calm, even in a week of turmoil. And the gaze is up, lift top knee, then the bottom. Square the hips, and we'll bring the right ankle across the top of the left thigh, flexing that foot so we protect the knee. And you can press this right thigh away if that feels like enough of a hip opener. Or you can draw this left knee in, interlace the fingers behind the thigh or even behind the shin, and rock. You can bring the right elbow to the right inner thigh. Releasing the old system, all its death and mourning and sadness, coming into Jesus' new system, new heavens, new earth. And release. Bring the left foot to the floor, right foot to the floor, and then cross the left ankle across the top of the right thigh. Flex the foot to protect the knee and press that thigh away. Or draw it in. I'm going to go around the shin. Rocking's always optional. Getting that calming effect of rocking the sacrum. And release. We're going to come into Shavasana. So check in with your low back. Notice how it's feeling. Can you extend out through both legs? Having the heels as wide as the mat, palms up, arms at a 45-degree angle away from the body, maybe shrugging the shoulder blades under. And if you start to notice any crankiness in the low back, you can bring the soles of the feet to the edges of the mat and let the knees fall together. Tuck the chin slightly towards the chest, closing the eyes, relaxing the face. You may have noticed that I had a candle burning today, and it has 2 wicks. It's for the deaths and horrible things that we've been hearing about in the news lately with police brutality and racial injustice. But I wanted us to remember the eternal light that was in the temple and that you'll see in some churches that remind us of the presence of God. So here's a little meditation about that. God said to Moses, "And you shall command the Israelites that they take for you clear oil of beaten olives for illumination, to light the lamp continually." And that's from Exodus 27, verse 20. The most obvious interpretation of this continual, perpetual, always comes from the very next verse, from evening until morning. That is, the lamp is to be lit always, from evening to morning. But many choose to interpret the expression to mean this light is to burn constantly, day as well as night. So which is it? Is the light relit every evening, or is the light to burn continually? Both are accurate readings. What can we learn from this? The continually burning light reminds us that God is present always, everywhere. His presence can be felt during our bright, joyful days and during the darkness that descends on us all. It is an eternal light of holiness, a symbol of God's continual, perpetual presence in our lives everywhere. The other reading of this passage is more about us. It is a reminder that we must constantly rekindle our dedication to a life in God's presence. It reminds us we must continue to light our inner lamp, to strive for holiness, to aspire to words and deeds that reflect the best in ourselves. God doesn't need light. The command for light continually is for our sake, a symbol that God is always present and that we need to continually rekindle our desire to experience that presence and live our lives in its light. And we'll continue in Shavasana with our usual resting while a song plays. I thought you'd like an explanation for our two-wicked candle, that God is present and that we remember to keep our light lit.
The world just took another spin in the wrong direction. Hate found a handgun, and now nobody feels safe. I gotta turn off the news so my kids don't see another tragedy.
Deepen the breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Begin to rock the head from side to side, making small movements. Inhale the arms up overhead till the thumbs touch on the floor behind you. Stretch the legs out long, drawing them together and pointing the toes, and come into a long stretch. I like to hook my thumbs, reach through the right fingers and right toes and squinch in the left side of the body. Then reach the left fingers and left toes away from each other as you squinch in the right side of the body. And a couple more of these fishy wiggles. And draw the knees in towards the chest one at a time and roll to the right side using that bottom arm as a pillow to rest in the fetal position. Use the hands to press into the floor and come up into a comfortable seated position with the eyes closed. Inhale the arms up overhead. Palms come together at the heart. Jesus, we thank you for saying to Sister Mary, the Holy Trinity, yes, I can transform all ugliness into beauty, all poverty into spiritual wealth, all sin into a source of grace, all rancor into forgiveness, into sweetness, all bitterness, into joy, all sadness, all suffering into redemption, when you give them to me and let me act. And Jesus, we thank you that in Revelation you say, behold, I make all things new. And Lord, we wait in faith for that day, and we want to keep our lamps lit for you. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you. I'll see you at Bible study.